So what is the ideal attack angle for each club? Well, a downward angle of attack is preferred for iron shots. But what about driver? The average angle of attack on the PGA Tour with a driver is negative 0.9 to negative 1.5 degrees down. However, the average PGA player has about 113 to 115 mile an hour driver club head speed. They also sometimes have a downward angle of attack with the driver so they can hit more fairways, sacrificing distance for some accuracy. Rory McIlroy has an upward angle of attack of 5 degrees with the driver and has a club head speed of 122 to 127 miles an hour. Rory often pounds his drives well over 300 yards. Bryson DeChambeau has an upward angle of attack also of 5 degrees. In 2021, he averaged 133 miles an hour of club head speed with his driver. The average angle of attack with a driver on the LPGA Tour is plus 3 degrees up. The average club head speed with a driver on the LPGA is 94 to 96 miles an hour. However, Nelly Korda is faster than most at 102 to 108 miles an hour, with a downward angle of attack at negative 2 to negative 5 degrees. That lower angle of attack loses a little bit of distance but gains accuracy. Nelly likes to address the ball further back in her stance and hit a draw. Now, I am 72 years old. The average male over 70 years old has a clubhead driver speed of 72 to 85 miles an hour. Golfers with slower driver swing speeds can often hit the ball further if they apply a positive angle of attack on the driver. So what things can we do to be sure that we are hitting up on the ball? The first thing to do is to be able to tee the ball high enough. Unfortunately, sometimes the rubber tees at my local driving range are too short. So sometimes I'll just put a plastic tee inside the rubber tee to make it higher. Sometimes I'll even bring rubber tees to the driving range and put one into the mat that I'm using. And you can see they come in all different sizes and colors. I like to see at least half of the golf ball above the top of the driver when the driver is on the ground at address. Do not address the ball in the center of the driver when the driver is on the ground. You will tend to hit the ball on the heel of the driver. Instead, address the ball off the toe of the driver when the driver is on the ground. You will then have a better chance of hitting the ball in the center of the club face. However, if you hover the driver club head above the ground at address, then you can address the ball in the center of the club face, since it will tend to return to that same spot. Greg Norman used to hover his driver. So you can use an impact tape to see where the ball contacts the club face. The ideal point of contact is probably just above the center and slightly toward the toe of the driver. Also, sometimes you have to make adjustments on the loft of the driver, and you might even want to see a fitter just to be sure your driver is optimized for your swing. At address, the ball is more forward in the stance is wider, the feet are slightly flared out, the spine is leaning a little to the right, and the hands are opposite the inside of the left thigh. This address position will help you hit the ball on the upswing. With the ball forward in the stance, there is a tendency to aim the shoulders too far to the left. Be sure to square up the shoulders at address. I also like to have a slightly closed stance with my feet. On the backswing, be sure to load up on the right side. There should be some spine tilt to the right at the top of the backswing. As Rory starts his downswing, the pelvis moves left and the head and upper body move right, which causes a secondary tilt of the spine to the right. That would be that white arrow. At impact, Rory's left arm is lined up with the shaft of the club, the spine is still tilted to the right, and the head is behind the ball. It's a little tilted too. So on this shot, Rory was 4.9 degrees angle of attack up. And he really hit it hard. He hit about 325 yards carry. Andy Proudman, he's on the YouTube channel Me and My Golf. He was working on hitting up on the ball with the driver. He moved his angle of attack from 0.9 up to 2.2 degrees. And as a result, he got 14 more yards of distance on carry with his driver. So if you're looking for more distance, especially if you have a lower club head speed like me, consider trying to hit more up on the ball with a driver. This is Stephen Vig in San Antonio, Texas. Thanks for watching.